Good morning, all. Welcome to the class of EE 306 Power System Analysis under KTU. Today, we'll be continuing our discussion on Module 6 Power System Stability. I'll be handling the topic Equal Area Criterion as applied to Transient Stability Analysis. In the preceding session, we have seen that solution of Singh equation will lead to determination of stability of a single machine operating as a part of a large power system. However, solution of Singh equation is not always necessary to investigate the system stability, or the exact solution is not needed. A direct approach based on equal area criterion can also be used to investigate the system stability. Equal area criterion can be used for quick prediction of stability. The method is based on graphical interpretation of the energy stored in the rotating mass as an aid to determine if the machine maintains stability after a disturbance. The method is only applicable to a single machine connected to an infinite bus or a two-machine system. If the system is unstable, the power angle delta continues to increase indefinitely with time and the machine loses synchronism. On the other hand, if the system is stable, delta T performs oscillations non-sinusoidal, whose amplitude decreases in actual practice because of damping terms. Since the system is non-linear, the nature of its response is not unique, and it may exhibit instability in a fashion different from that indicated here, depending upon the nature and severity of disturbance. It can happen. Here I could see two different graphs are being shown. This is the first one, which actually this is a plot of delta of t in the sense in the y-axis it is delta and x-axis it is t. For a particular system, this is the plot. Means its delta continues to increase indefinitely with time. That means the system is unstable. And another response is being plotted here. Means it is having a d delta by dt at 0 here, or else delta t performs oscillations, and these oscillations are dying out in nature because of the damping present. So for a stable system, indication of stability will be given by observation of the first swing, where delta will go to a maximum and will start to reduce. So the system is stable if at some time d delta by dt is 0, and it is unstable like this if d delta by dt is greater than 0, or never it becomes 0 for sufficiently long time. So this plot of delta t upon t gives you an inference like how the system stability can go. What is the nature of the curve if it is a unstable, if it is a stable, like that. Now we will apply the technique of equal area criterion on this single machine connected to infinite bus system. We know that the swing equation is given by h by pi f into d square delta by dt square is equal to Pm minus Pe, which is the same as, which is called the accelerating power Pa. So from this equation, rearranging this equation, we can write it as d square delta by dt square as pi f0 by h into Pm minus Pe. We can multiply both sides by 2 into d delta by dt. If we multiply both sides of this equation, so it will be 2 into d delta by dt into d square delta by dt square is equal to 2 into pi f0 by h into Pm minus Pe into d delta by dt. This can be written as d by dt of d delta by dt the whole square. Simply look at d by dt of d delta by dt the whole square. When we take that derivative of this term, it will be 2 into d delta by dt into d square delta by dt square. Okay. So it is equal to 2 pi f0 by h into Pm minus Pe into d delta by dt. The same we can write it as d of d delta by dt the whole square is equal to 2 pi f0 by h into Pm minus Pe into d delta. Here this dt and this dt term we have cancelled. So integrating both sides, integral of differential term, we'll get it as d delta by dt the whole square in left hand side. And in right hand side 2 pi f0 by h, it's a constant, into integral Pm minus Pe into d delta upon, for integration within limits delta 0 to delta. Or else we could write this square term. So d delta by dt is equal to square root of 2 pi f0 by h into integral delta 0 to delta Pm minus Pe into d delta. This equation gives the relative speed of the machine with respect to synchronously revolving reference frame. Relative speed d delta by dt. No? For stability, this speed must become 0 at some time after the disturbance. We have seen here. Now, after the disturbance occurs, there are some oscillations produced, and this has to be 0 at some point. So, for stability, the speed must become 0 at some time after the disturbance. Therefore, we have for the stability criterion, this term should be 0. Equated to 0 means it should be 0. That is integral delta 0 to delta Pm minus Pe into d delta is equal to 0. So consider the machine. This is the power angle curve Pe versus delta. And now consider the machine operating at equilibrium at delta 0. This is your delta 0. Equilibrium means the mechanical input and the electrical output are same. Pm0 is equal to Pe0 at delta 0. Consider a sudden step increase in input power represented by Pm1. Now we see input power is increased to Pm1, but output power is constant at Pe0, which is same as Pm0. So since Pm1 is greater than Pe0, there will be in this equation, the swing equation, the right hand side, no, Pm minus Pe, which is Pa, that is the accelerating power. So as Pm1 is greater than Pe0, there will be some accelerating power on the rotor, which is positive, and the power angle delta increases accordingly. And the excess energy stored in the rotor during this initial acceleration is integral delta 0 to delta 1 Pm1, because the angle corresponding to Pm1 it is delta 1. So integral delta 0 to delta 1 Pm1 minus Pe d delta is equal to, that is, what is that actually? This it represents this region, which is the area ABC, which is known as area, which is being marked as area A1 here. This much area, no, area A1. And with the increase in delta, the electrical power actually increases. And when delta becomes equal to delta 1, the electrical power matches the new input power Pm1, as you could see. And delta changes from delta 0 to delta 1. The power equation Pe is actually E into V by X into sine delta. So when power angle changes to delta 1, so it increases. As delta 1 increases means Pe also increases to Pm1. Even though the accelerating power is 0 now at this point, delta 1 corresponding to the operating point delta 1, PM1 is the mechanical input and the electrical output is again PM1. So the accelerating power is 0. But the rotor is running above synchronous speed. Hence delta and electrical power PE will continue to increase. So PE increases further in this line. So PE increases further means PM, now PM is less than PE. So PM less than PE means PM minus PE is negative. That means rotor is to decelerate towards the synchronous speed until delta reaches delta max. Okay, until delta reaches delta max, this point. According to that system dynamics, the rotor must swing past point B until an equal amount of energy is given up by the rotating masses. So energy given back by the rotor as it decelerates back to synchronous speed is integral delta 1 to delta max PM1 minus PE into d delta. That is this region, no? Integral delta 1 to delta max PM1 minus PE into d delta. That is area BDE, this area BDE, or else it is being marked as, it is marked as A2 here. So that is this equation. The result is that a rotor swings to point B and the angle delta max, at which point area A1 is equal to area A2. So the rotor always swings between this to this. So this area is being marked as A1 and this area is A2. And this swinging happens as area A1 is same as area A2. And this condition is known as, or this criterion is known as equal area criterion. Equal area criterion. The rotor angle would then oscillate back and forth between delta 0 and delta max at its natural frequency. The damping present in the machine will cause these oscillations to subside and the new steady state operation would be established at point B, as you could see here at point B. Okay. Now we'll see the same system if it is subjected to some severe fault. You know that transient stability analysis is being done, or transient stability, that portion is being considered as when sudden fault or sudden disturbance occurs. So if a sudden disturbance occurs in the form of a severe fault in a transmission line, how much is the effective clearing time? Or effective clearing time means clearing the transmission line from that by reopening the circuit breakers and closure of that, and the effect of that clearing time on stability, or how does it affect the stability. So for that, let us consider a system like this. Okay, there is a generator connected to an infinite bus through the two parallel lines. Okay, and assume the input power as PM, which is constant, and the machine is operating under steady state, delivering power to the system with a power angle, say delta 0. Okay, and suppose a temporary three-phase power fault, three-phase fault occurs at the sending end of one of the lines. Okay, and when the fault is at the sending end of the line at point F, now power is being transmitted into the infinite bus and the resistances are neglected. Electrical power is 0, output power is then 0 because power is not being transmitted, no. So in the equation PM minus PE, PE becomes 0, in the power angle, that duration, the curve goes to the horizontal axis, corresponds to the horizontal axis, and the machine accelerating power will be same as PM. So accelerates with the total input power as the accelerating power, and thereby increasing its speed, no? And power as accelerated means speed increases, stored kinetic energy increases, and angle delta also increases. This is the state. It was operating at delta 0 at this point, operating point A. Okay, then the fault occurs, curve becomes this, horizontal corresponds to the horizontal region, and the fault is cleared. Both lines are assumed to be intact. So the fault is, suppose the fault is cleared at delta 1. Fault is cleared only at delta 1. Okay. So now the operating point is shifted to the from the original power angle curve at, it is being shifted to E now, because corresponding to delta 1 power, electrical power output PE is this E. Okay. So the net power is now decelerating, and the previously stored kinetic energy will be reduced to 0 at, as it moves up like this. No, it becomes 0 at this point F. When where the shaded area, this shaded area A2, no, that is D, E, F, G, this area, the shaded area equals the shaded area of A, B, C, D, shown by A1. Since P is still greater than PM, the rotor continues to decelerate, and the path is retraced like this along the power angle curve, passing through points E. It will pass through E and A like this. The rotor angle would then oscillate back and forth around the operating point A or delta 0 at its natural frequency. Because of the inherent damping, oscillation subsides and the operating point returns to the original power angle delta 0. Okay. So it is now back to, it was the original operating point was delta 0 or point A. At that time, the fault occurred. It was working under steady state. The fault occurs. E becomes 0, PE becomes 0 because now power is being transmitted. So PE 0 means accelerating power. PM minus PA, PE will be PA, which is PA, which is PM itself. And this corresponds to that region. During the time during the time corresponding to angle delta 1, let the faulty location be cleared, so that now this is the new power output. So then PM minus PE become decelerating, and it continue, and because of it as a running above synchronous speed. So this point it reaches, it decelerates back and forth in between this, and this operating point A is being re-established corresponding to angle delta 0. Now we'll see critical clearing angle, what it is. Critical clearing angle is reached when any further increase in delta 1 causes the area A2. A2 means the decelerating energy area, and A1 is the accelerating area. So the area A2 representing the decelerating energy to become less than the area representing the accelerating energy. This occurs above delta max or point F, which is actually the intersection of line PM and the curve PE as shown in figure. So here in this diagram, A1 is equal to A2. Here the fault actually being cleared. Stability has been regained, no problem at all. And how much time the system can take to clear that fault, or if the clearing time increases further and further, or if delta 1 increases to this end, whether there will be any issue to the stability that is being analyzed here. Suppose delta 1 is increased further to this point. Here again you could see this is the area or the accelerating area A1. This is the decelerating area A2. Here by chance A1 is same as A2 and it goes up to this delta max F point F, operating point F goes to this delta max, and it is being set by the intersection between the lines PM and the P graph. This is the maximum condition. Here again A1 is equal to A2. If it goes beyond this point, the system won't be stable. So in order to derive the critical clearing angle, we could equate, or we could apply the equal area criterion for this case. So applying the equal area criterion, integral delta 0 to delta C. This point, the maximum point, it is being marked as delta 1, it is being marked as delta C. Okay, so integral delta 0 to delta C Pm into d delta is equal to integral delta C to delta max Pm sine delta, P max sine delta minus Pm into d delta, and integrating on both sides will get Pm into delta C minus delta 0 is equal to P max into sine delta, integral of that, it is cos of negative, no, so it is cos of delta C minus, sorry, cos of delta C minus cos of delta max minus Pm into delta max minus delta C. And solving for delta C, you get can make it to this side. So Pm into delta max minus delta 0 divided by P max plus cos delta max, that is equal to cos delta C. So we can say cos delta C is equal to Pm by P max into delta max minus delta 0 plus cos delta max. And under faulty state, PE becomes 0. So Singh equation can be written as H by pi f 0 into d square delta by dt square is equal to Pm, or else d square delta by dt square is equal to Pm into pi f 0 by h. Integrating on both sides, we could write d delta by dt is equal to pi f 0 by h Pm into integral 0 to t dt, which is same as pi f 0 by h into Pm into t. Integrating again in order to get delta. So delta is equal to pi f 0 by h into Pm into t square plus delta 0, initial condition. So thus if delta C is the critical clearing angle, when delta equal to delta C, the critical clearing occurs, or the maximum that can go up to delta C only. If that is the case, delta is being replaced by delta C and T could be replaced by TC, or the corresponding time we can call it as a critical clearing time. And rearranging this equation, we can write TC is equal to square root of 2h into delta C minus delta 0 divided by pi f0 into Pm. So this is the critical clearing time. Critical clearing time, which is called the critical clearing time, as given by equation TC is equal to 2h into in the square root of 2h into delta C minus delta 0 divided by pi f0 Pm. Similarly, we could write critical clearing angle delta C is equal to pi f0 by 2h into Pm into Tc square plus delta 0. So as the clearing of the faulty line is delayed, what will happen? A1 increases, and so does delta 1, or this delta 1 increases beyond the delta C, and A2 will be, and we have to find an A2 which is equal same as A1 till delta 1 is equal to delta max. If it is goes beyond that, if the clearing time or angle larger than this value, the system would be unstable, as A2 will be less than A1. The max that is, so we can say that the maximum, the maximum allowable value of the clearing time and the angle for the system to remain stable are known as the critical clearing time and critical clearing angle. With this, we conclude the session of equal area criterion and the critical clearing angle and critical clearing time as applied to transient stability analysis. And these are the reference textbooks I have used, and the respective chapters are marked. You should also go through that. Thank you.